My name's Chris Arasin, and I kind of started this, don't even know why I really started it, kind of a challenge from seeing how other cities have responded to this crisis. And all of a sudden, Asher happened, and our community kind of woke up a little bit, and I've been waiting for it to wake up, that we need to make a difference. For the past 15 years, I've worked with a radio station here in Houston, and we've given a voice to the youth, and we've always felt proud that we can be that instrument that kids can hear about. You know, the TV, parents can block certain stations, so you may not get to see that a positive experience of the community. They can put filters on the internet, and you're not going to find that. But the great thing with radio is, if you've got queer radio in your community, it's a positive message. $2 at a dollar store and you can get us. You can find out about your community so that you don't realize that you're alone. That you're not just this weird kid who gets pushed on or gets food dumped on them, or just have to go through the general crap of being a teenager. And it's been one of the proudest things of my life to be a part of this station and now part of this project, to try and let kids realize that there are people out there who give a damn, that they're here and they're going to be a part of our community, and we want them to be a part of our community for a long time, to be safe, to be healthy, and to feel cared for. And it's a shame that we have to do something like this, that once again someone has to be in a coffin for people to wake up and decide it's time to step up again. We've seen too many people die in our community. The generation before me through disease, and my generation through hate. Through Matthew Shepard, Paul Broussard, Billy Jack Gaither, Brendan Tina. The list can go on forever. And now, sadly, we've got the September 2010 8. And it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen this day and age. You know, we're here in Houston, Texas. We're redneck in so many ways. We're a big metropolitan city, but in so many ways we're not metropolitan. And we live up to the stereotypes that are given to us as being a part of this city, this state. But it's kind of with pride that we can sit there and say, you know, if you want a good excuse of how it gets better, we have an openly lesbian mayor. We have an open lesbian on our city council. No other city in our size in the United States can boast that. You have to go to Europe to find one that has openly gay people at that level. So there is some hope out there that, yes, it will get better. We've had people attacked in our streets for just wearing the wrong clothes, coming out of the wrong bar, going to the wrong church. But it gets better. It gets better to a point where we can openly say, we have a mayor, we have representation, we have a voice that actually knows what it's like to walk in our shoes, to walk in those hallways. I was kind of lucky. You know, I wasn't pegged as being a queer in high school or in junior high. It was so much easier to pick on me for being fat. And that insulated me from a lot of that kind of turmoil. But I understand where it comes from. And I've seen it. And I've worked with people who, for any sort of reason, they get looked down upon and they get discriminated against. And you know what? I'm probably guilty of it too. Everyone has a momentary slip where they, think something about someone, just a snap decision. And the difference makes in that is how you respond from yourself. How you decide to process what you did, what you thought, what you might have said, and how you change from that. You know, the important thing is, if you're being bullied, you're not alone. There are people out there who are being bullied also, who know what you're going through. Find a queer youth group. Get help from them. In Houston, it's called Hatch. hatchyouth.org. Contact the Trevor Project. If you're in crisis mode, there's people out there who want to hear the story. If you're being bullied at school, tell your teacher, tell your counselor, tell your assistant principal, tell your principal, tell the school board, tell the superintendent, and mark down every time you talk to them. Keep the past if you can when you go to see the principal, so you can say, hey, I did show up at the principal's office and this is what we talked about. And if they don't listen, call the media, wherever you are. If there's a queer radio show in your area, contact them. If there's a queer newspaper, contact them. Contact different gay blogs out there. Let them know that this is going on, and we're not going to stand for it. You shouldn't have to stand for it. And you're not going to have to stand for it alone. There's people out here who are willing to help. We're willing to help. That's why we're here. We want to make sure that the next group comes through and has an easier time than we did. Just like it's like our parents say, we always hope our kids have an easier life. We're your family of choice. We're going to be the ones that will be there for you if your family decides, whatever they decide, to accept you and love you, or your church family feels. We're still your family of choice, and we love you, and we care for you, and we want to make sure you have an easier time. And we want the generation after that to have an even easier time. And we just have to remember we have to stand up and make sure that they understand that we're not going to take it anymore, and that people out there give a damn, and it's going to get better. All we can do is get it better. And that's why we're here. You know, I volunteer this radio show for no pay, 4 hours a week. And one time my mother asked me why I do it. I never had a good answer for it. 2 Pride Parades ago, we were sitting out next to our float. And these 2 young guys came up to us, late teens, and they asked if it was the KPFT float, which is our call letters. And I said yeah, and they asked for me by name, and I stood up and introduced myself, and my co-host, one of the co-hosts on here, he started talking, and they turned around and addressed him by name. And they came up to us and they said, we want to thank you. Because they were in a dark place. They were feeling the pressure of being out as a couple. They didn't know where to turn. They felt alone and lost. And somehow they found this radio show. And somehow, by listening to this radio show, they realized it was going to get better. And they didn't tell us how dark of a place. They just said they were in a dark place. And they thanked us for getting them out of that dark place. And they took their picture with us. And they were just thanking us for being there, being the voice that they could hear and understand where they're coming from. And I told my mom a week later, I said, you asked me why I do it? I go, that's my paycheck. Hearing that we helped 2 people who were in a dark moment. Once again, we don't know how dark it was. We know there's other times where people were in even darker places, that were in the garage planning, ready to carry it out. And they heard a voice out there that let them know they weren't alone. And we were glad to be there for them at that moment. And we're glad to be there for you at this moment. We want you to have a long time with us. And if not us on this, physically us, the community. We use that word a lot. And we want you to be a part of this community, be a proud member of the community at whatever level you feel comfortable being now, next year, 10 years from now. That's what it's about. And we want you to be a part of it. And no, I keep saying it, but we give a damn. And it's going to get better. And we're going to help make it better for you now, and we hope you're going to help make it better for the next generation. And sadly, it took losing 8 people, and especially here in Houston, losing a 13-year-old, that makes us realize that never again. Never want to do that again. So as we say here with Project Asher, let all youth know it gets better. Thank you.